Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen for another video, or welcome if you're new here. Today, it's a few days leading up to Shavuot. Shavuot is a special holiday, unique holiday for us, because it is the only holiday that we eat dairy. We focus on the dairy. So, when I'm recording this, it's actually a few weeks ahead of Shavuot. It's a nice 2 weeks before, 2.5 weeks before. I'm going to make a few things and freeze them like that leading up to Shavuot the days before. It's going to be a lot easier on me for cooking wise. And dairy products just freeze so well. So what we're going to make today is we're going to make a Lotus fudge cheesecake. So we're going to make the crust, the cheesecake, and then once it's cool, we're going to put a fudge on top. And we're also going to make a caramel cheese cake roll. So we're going to bake the cake. I think what we're going to do is we're going to bake the cake for the cake roll. Then we're going to bake the crust for the cheesecake. Whip up the cheesecake itself. Bake that. And at that point the cake should be cool. And we'll be able to make the filling for the cake, roll it up. And later today we'll finish off the cheesecake. So let's get right into it. The Lotus fudge cheesecake I will have linked for you down below. The cake roll is from a recipe book, and I do not have a link for you for that. So I already pulled out the pans that I will need for both the cheesecake and the cake, the roll cake. This has something over there dirty. Let me get it out. I also have out here a piece of butter, the amount that we will need. I have it at room temperature. And we've got some unwhipped cream cheese over here coming to room temperature as well. I thought this was my bigger cookie sheet, and it's actually not, so I'm happy I can switch it out for my bigger one. I think we're going to work in a bowl just to limit the dishes that I need to do. Whenever I have to take out the mixer, I feel like it's a lot more dishes. So we're going to start off with 6 eggs. This is probably double yolker, so I don't want to use it. I'm going to wash them first. Okay, I also brought over another bowl because we need to separate our eggs. I'm going to put them in here so that they don't roll away. And we're going to beat the egg whites. I'm going to get the whites in here and the yolks in here. Oof. The first one and the yolk cracked. Okay, before I start whipping up the egg whites, I will get all the ingredients out. Maybe even try to pre-measure whatever I can so that we can slowly put it all in as I'm mixing it. So I'm getting out another bowl and I'm gonna combine all of the dry ingredients in here. I'm gonna start with some sugar. I'm gonna add in the flour. I have more than this little bit, so I'm gonna have enough. We're gonna get some cocoa in here, some baking powder. So this is all of the dry ingredients. I'm gonna get the wet ingredients into this cup over here. And for the wet ingredients, we're gonna do oil and orange juice. Now that I got all of this ready, I'm gonna get out my hand mixer. Okay, so we're going to beat the egg whites until they're stiff, and then we're going to start adding in the other ingredients. Sprayed myself with chocolate before I finish mixing it all in. I want to make sure that I get everything into this bowl. Let me actually also wipe down the sides. Let me finish mixing this. Okay. I am going to line this cookie sheet with parchment paper. I still need this for the cheesecake, so I don't want to put it away. Okay, I'm going to transfer all of this batter onto our cookie sheet. We're going to spread this out into this cookie sheet. Make sure we get it all the way to the edge. Okay. This is now going to go into the oven, bake for 25 minutes. Let me quickly give this a little clean up, rinse these dishes so that we can use it again. Okay, now we can get working on the crust for our cheesecake, which has to bake at the same temperature as the cake. So if we get it done quickly enough, it can go into the oven at the same time. So I'm drying this bowl so that I can mix it all in here. And we're gonna need 3 tablespoons of room temperature butter, which we got right here. Okay, while I open up the can of sweetened condensed milk, we're gonna get 22 of these Biscoff cookies and we're gonna crush them. I think I'll put them into a bag, crush them, and then get it into the bowl. So I'm crushing it using the rolling pin, and I think I got it to a good consistency. Nice crumbs. Yes. I'm gonna get it into the bowl here, and now we're gonna get a 1/4 cup of sweetened condensed milk into this bowl. Ooh, wow. We're gonna combine this. We want to make sure everything is evenly combined. No dry crumbs. Debating if I should oil my springform pan, but I think that this is wet enough that it won't stick. Maybe the sugar from the sweetened condensed milk will caramelize on there. Let me think. First thing I'm going to do though, I'm going to wrap the bottom of this springform pan in foil and bring it up to size. I just do that in case if it leaks anything. It acts as a barrier, a protection, layer of protection. I guess I'm not spraying it. Okay. So we're going to flatten this out. Should I bring it up the sides a little bit? It doesn't say. But what I will do, I'm getting a ramekin, but you can use anything that's flat in the bottom, and let that help you flatten the crust. It's sticking too much. I don't think I can do this. I think I'll just have to do it with my hand. Okay, this is what we got it to look like. It's coming up the sides a little bit. And this will go into the oven now for 7 minutes. I'll wash my hands because it's nice and oily now. So next we can make the cheese filling for the cheesecake. For the cheesecake, we need 1 pound of unwhipped cream cheese. We need a 3/4 cup of this sweetened condensed milk. I think I'll just do everything that's left in this jar. And now we need some of the Biscoff creamy butter. And we'll do 2 tablespoons of this. Oh, now I need my beaters. They're still by the sink, so let me get it. I had rinsed them, but not dried them. I don't think I have to be very thorough about drying it, but I don't want to introduce too much extra moisture. And we're gonna beat this together until it's nice and smooth. Okay, that came together very easily. I'm gonna clean off the beaters because I want to get every last drop of this delicious goodness into the cheesecake. And now we can set this aside and wait until the crust comes out of the oven. That was perfect timing. Got the crust out. Now we're gonna get our cheese filling in here. And you want to smooth out the top, is what the recipe says. Okay. This will now go back into the oven for an additional 30 minutes. Our cake is done. Actually, I should have checked it with a toothpick. Let me do it now. Clean, perfect. What I'm gonna do to help it cool faster is I'm gonna flip it onto a different cooling rack. Gonna remove the pan. Beautiful. I think I am actually going to do a little bit different. I'm gonna get it onto a towel and I'm gonna roll it. This should make it easier to roll later and prevent it from cracking. Okay, so we're gonna let it cool in here for a little bit. And that's it for right now. Once this is cool and the cheesecake comes out of the oven and that's cool, we're gonna continue on. Okay, so we just finished dinner. Right before dinner, the cheesecake came out of the oven. But I think we are ready to make the cream for our roll cake. Yeah, also I realized that I got dirty from the cake batter. So I changed into some comfy clothes that I'll be in for the night. So I'm gonna move the cheesecake aside and I got a bowl to make our cream in. First thing we're gonna start with is 8 ounces of whipped cream cheese this time. I did use a little bit of this for a different recipe. I'm okay if it's slightly less. I think I took out like 1 tablespoon of this. So the next ingredient that we need, I'm gonna check on Amazon if I can find something like this. So those of you that don't have a kosher supermarket around you, if you want to make this, it uses white milk chocolate cream. We don't need the entire jar of this, and it gives ounces measurement. So I'm going to do this on the scale. It's separated, so let me get something to mix it together first. So I got it mostly put together, creamed together again, but it's still a lot of chunky bits. So I'm gonna get out the amount that I need. And I realized while I was doing this that I'm not sharing the actual recipe for this. So I'm gonna see if I can find something similar online. If I do, I will link this product if I can find it on Amazon. Okay, next we need some confectionery sugar and some vanilla sugar. Okay, we're gonna cream this together. You can help me. I just want to start to incorporate the confection sugar a little bit because it's gonna make a cloud. Okay. You can take off the beaters. So what we're going to do now is we're going to unroll this. Oh, the center is still really warm. Oh, it cracked already. Thank you. We're going to spread this out. Okay, now we're going to roll this back up, and as we're rolling it up, we're going to remove the parchment paper. We got one nice big crack here, but luckily it's still inside, so it won't be visible. Some cream coming out here. I'm gonna put it inside here. Okay. Now, I think I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm gonna get a clean parchment paper and get this onto a pan so that we can transfer it into the freezer. I'm gonna get this onto the clean cookie sheet with a seam down. Okay, let me clean up a little bit. So what you can do is get out a little spatula. You're gonna squirt it, but you're gonna try to cover the whole thing with it. Okay? Okay, so we'll just let it soak into the cake. So the recipe calls for caramel cream here. I just bought a caramel sauce. And it's way too runny. So we're just going to go like this, drizzle it. It's going to soak into the cake. And it does call for nut crunch. But I didn't have any nut crunch, and I don't go through it often enough. Fast enough to buy it. So I'm going to use just some chopped almonds that I have, and I'm just going to put it on part of it because not everyone is going to want nuts on it. But it just gives you a contrast of color. You can see I left some of the cake without the nuts. So this can go into the freezer. I'm going to let it flash freeze, and then I'm going to package it up to go into the freezer until Shavuos. Last thing we're going to do is make the fudge for the cheesecake. So let me read what we need to do. We need to do it in a double boiler. So let's move over to the stovetop. So we got the pan here with water. Okay, I rinsed and wiped dry this bowl. I guess we'll move that out of here. Okay, so I measured out 6 ounces of dark milk chocolate. I'm gonna start heating this up. We're also going to add in a half a can of sweetened condensed milk. Yeah, that's about half. And last will be again 2 tablespoons of our Biscoff cream. And it's going to take a while till the chocolate melts, so you might not be able to stir it right away. Okay, so I have a helper here that is stirring the double boiler. So while she's doing that, I'm going to remove, because I want to put this into the freezer, I'm going to remove this springform pan. It's stuck to the pan a little bit over here. I don't want it to pull away the whole thing. Beautiful. Now I want to transfer it onto a plate that I can freeze instead of it leaving on the springform bottom. So I'm going to try and get it off of this. If not, I'll have to freeze it on this. Let's see if I can just slide it off. No, not the best idea. So we're just going to freeze it on this. Okay, so this is starting to feel fudgy. So I'm going to call this good. I'm going to turn over the heat. I need a towel because this bowl is actually hot. I'm going to wipe down the bottom. so that I don't get any moisture onto the cheesecake. I'm gonna get this on here. And we're gonna spread it out a little bit. It's gonna do it by itself, I see. But I'm just gonna try and help it out a little bit. And this is a thick layer of fudge. So if you don't like fudge that much, you can probably have this and still have a decent coverage. Okay, we're gonna get this into the freezer as well. It's looking beautiful. It's a couple days later and our treats are fully frozen. So I'm gonna wrap it up in some plastic wrap. I think I'll leave it with the paper also so that I can defrost it on this. Proving to be harder than I thought to wrap it the way that I wanted to. Let me go get our cheesecake. This, I forgot to decorate with lotus cookies, crushed lotus cookies, before the fudge. After I put the fudge on, before I froze it. So this is what it'll have to be. And if possible, maybe when I serve it, I'm gonna add the lotus then, if it's soft enough. But as you can see, I'm not taste testing any of this. So I don't want to cut into it before the holiday starts. And so none of these are anything that I made before, so I'm just going to trust that they're good. And if you want to see something that I do taste test, then stay here, because I feel like this is a very short video. So I'm working on another video that I'm also baking. So I'm making something else that I'll add into this video. If it feels too long without it, you'll see it in the future. But if this ends up being a short video, I'm going to put it in here and we're going to taste test that. So let me get this into the freezer and then we're going to get to baking. I'm going to take out and set up my mixer. Okay, now just like our roll cake, this is from a recipe book. So I'm not going to be sharing the recipe with you, but I'll show you the ingredients. I'll show you how I make it. I'm going to start by cracking some eggs into the bowl, along with some sugar and oil. Then we're going to mix this together and add the rest of the ingredients. I'm going to put on the splash guard. I'm going to bring out the rest of the ingredients, tell you what it is before I add it in. So we're going to be adding water, cocoa, flour, baking powder and baking soda, vanilla sugar and vanilla extract. Yeah, it just came out. Now that the batter is ready, let me put away my ingredients, make space here to continue working with this. Okay, my oven has reached temperature, so let's do this quickly. I have other stuff going on here, other projects. So that's why I have the crack pot out. Okay, we're going to use a mishmash of muffin liners. I'm trying to use up what I have around the house. I don't know if these are the best for this project, but we're going to use these two. Actually, I'm going to move this one here so we have 3 full ones of this. And we're going to finish off with the traditional paper ones. We're going to have 3 different types. I thought I have more of this, honestly. Okay, So now that these are lined, I can start filling them. And we're gonna get them 3/4 full, which is about a scoop. It's actually a little bit less, but for these taller ones, I can use a full scoop. I don't have to be that concerned about overflow. Okay, I still have some batter left, but I filled up all of the muffin liners and I don't have another muffin tin, so this will be it. Okay, now my oven is ready, like I said, and this is chocolate muffins, right? We're gonna add a little twist to it though. I'm gonna make a little bit of space here for me to work. And we're gonna make a cheese filling to go in the center of all these muffins. So these are gonna be chocolate cheese muffins. I don't know if you have them in your local bakeries, but around here, this is a very popular item. In bakeries and cafes, you can find this everywhere. They're usually very expensive. And it's not that hard to make. Just a muffin with an extra step. But it is worth it because it is so delicious. Okay, we're gonna add an egg, some vanilla sugar, oof, and confectioner sugar. I'm making such a mess. I'm thinking now I probably should have combined the cream cheese and egg first and then added the sugar, because now it's just gonna make a dust storm. And if that's what's gonna happen, I should probably move these muffins aside. Okay, this made a proper mess. So it didn't make that much of a dust storm, but it did make a mess on the mixer itself, the hand mixer. I think having the cream cheese come up to room temperature, and it's been sitting out for probably like 2 hours, and it's next to, I had it next to a working oven, so that helped it too. Really helped make this a nice smooth mixture. Okay, there's still some confection sugar on the bottom and the sides, so I'm going to incorporate that. And I always forget how much filling this makes, and I should have underfilled my muffin liners a little bit. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this cheese filling and get it into the batter. It's just sitting on top, but as it's baking, it's going to bake into the muffin. So for the bigger cups, I can put more filling, but for the traditional liners, I'm gonna have to do very little. Look at that. Okay, let me do this with the rest of them. I think that these will be better on a cookie sheet because they're not standing. They're not like falling into the cuts of the muffin liner. And so the batter, as you can see over here, it's not straight. And it's going to make a mess because it's going to overflow. Let's get these filled up. And I think I did a very good job dividing up this cheese filling. I scraped it all out. Okay, so these can now go into the oven, and I will show them to you what they look like coming out. Okay, so it's beautiful weather out, so I'm gonna enjoy my coffee and muffin out here. So I wanted to show you guys what this looks like. Beautiful. I think I should drink a little bit of the coffee before it spills. Look at this muffin. It looks like a great chocolate muffin. I think the cheese came out the best that it ever did from all the times that I've made it. There was a time a few years back where I always had these stocked in my freezer. And I would have a couple of them in my fridge. And as soon as I was running low in the freezer, I would make more. But it's been quite a while since I made it, so let's see. I'm gonna grab a chunk of the muffin and some of that delicious cheese. And let's taste this. Just as delicious as I remember. Actually even better because the cheese is still a little soft because it's freshly baked. And like I said, usually I have it from the freezer and I store them in the fridge also. So the cheese is a lot firmer. Oh wow. Delicious. I'm gonna enjoy this. Finish my coffee. Enjoy this weather. And if you enjoyed this video, consider hitting the like button. And if you want to see more, consider hitting the subscribe button. And I hope to see you in the next one. Delicious.